back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back to today's video. Today we are going to be previewing the upcoming Premier League fixture between Everton and Brighton Hove Albion at Goodison Park. Tomorrow, Saturday, 3 o'clock kick-off. Back to 3 o'clock kickoffs at Goodison Park. Fantastic. Marco Silva has had his pre-game press conference today, so we'll talk a little bit about that in today's video, as well as looking at my predicted lineup, some injury news and things like that. I'm also wearing the pink training sort of jumpery jacket top sort of thing. It's one of the items that I got for my birthday, one of the many Everton items that I got for my birthday, and I think this is definitely one of their pick of their bunches. It's comfortable, it can act as a t-shirt, a jumper. I sound like I'm selling it here, don't I? I'm really not selling it, but for 50 quid, go and pick yourself one up. It's decent, it really is decent. But anyway, into today's video. Obviously Brighton and Hove Albion at home. Marco Silva looking to bounce back from the defeat to Manchester United at Old Trafford last week in what for me was a poor result in a game that we definitely should have got more out of. You know, we had the chances, and if it wasn't for an absolutely awful refereeing decision and the fact that we weren't clinical in taking them chances, then we you know, would have come away with the 3 points there. I think the Bernard one for me is really key, not just because obviously it's a missed chance and he rounds the keeper and doesn't manage to score, but the timing of that chance is that if he takes that past again and slots, Everton have then got about 25 minutes to half an hour to then go and look for an equaliser, which would have consequently been the penalty, and then a winner. And I think if you score with sort of half an hour to go against that current Man United team, it would have put a lot of pressure under them, and I do think we could have come away with the win. But anyway, never mind that, that is in the past. Brighton and Hove Albion at home. A little bit of injury news for the opposition. Davy Propper and Pascal Gross have been ruled out of tomorrow's game. Last time I said that, I said Alexis Sanchez was out and he ended up being on the bench, but it's been reported that they have been ruled out due to injury. Two big players in the Brighton team, of course, so that'll be, you know, it's a benefit to Everton Football Club that they won't be playing tomorrow. So we'll have a look at my predicted starting 11 up there. I've popped it up there. There's some players that may jump out at you straight away, some differences to the team that started against Manchester United. We'll go from goalkeeper, of course. In goal, number 1, Jordan Pickford, as per usual, don't even need to explain. Lucas Dean at left back, a centre-back partnership of Michael Keane and Yerry Mina. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Seamus Coleman at right back, we'll also talk about that. Idrissa Gana Gueye in the central midfield with Andre Gomez. We've got Richarlison on the left, Ademola Lookman on the right, Gylfi Sigurdsson through the middle, and Cenk Tosun straight up front. Now there's a few players in there, like I said, that jump out straight away. A few players that, you know, changes that I think a lot of Everton fans would want to see, some changes that maybe some fans won't want to see. We'll talk about them in just a second. All I want to say is that Marco Silva has confirmed in his press conference today that both Phil Jagielka and John Joe Kenny are out of tomorrow's game due to an injury. Now, putting Seamus Coleman in this team, I actually predicted this team yesterday when I was doing the edit and making it and stuff, and the hardest decision was whether to put Seamus Coleman or John Joe Kenny in, because I do think John Joe Kenny deserves another chance. Obviously Seamus has been poor recently. He hasn't been performing to, you know, what we know of Seamus Coleman to perform to. So I was really willing to give John Joe Kenny another chance. The only reason why I didn't do it is because right back was the last position I come to when making the team, and like you can see, I'd already brought Mina in, I've already brought Lookman in, I brought Cenk Tosun back in, so I just thought, no, we'll keep Coleman there. But it has been announced today by Marco Silva himself that John Joe Kenny is suffering from an injury and won't return to first team training until next week. So Seamus Coleman will take that place. That is pretty much solidified. Another one that jumps out is obviously Yerry Mina. Now this is a massive change. Yerry Mina is a player that, let's be honest, needs to start playing for Everton. We signed him for £30 million in the summer from Barcelona. He's come in, he's had an injury, so he's had his sort of start at Everton put back already, halted already due to his injury, but then he's been fit now for a couple of weeks and he's just been kept out the team by fantastic performances from Michael Keane and Kurt Zouma. And don't get me wrong, I'm not putting Yerry Mina in because, you know, I'm not looking at the Man United game and going, okay, Kurt Zouma and, you know, Michael Keane conceded 2, time to take one out. I'm not looking at it like that. The only time you can really change a centre-back partnership is when you've been beaten or when you've conceded goals. You know, there's no way you can break up a centre-back partnership that are keeping clean sheets like we did against Palace, like we did against Fulham, and obviously I know the last game was a little bit different, but we still managed to come away with 3 points. So I think this is the time to bring Yerry Mina in for Marco Silva, along with the fact that we play Chelsea next week in the Premier League, and that is a game that Kurt Zouma obviously can't play in because it's his parent club, so he's not going to be able to play in that game. So instead of putting Yerry Mina into a Premier League game at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, who are a team that are looking like, you know, challenging for the title this year, all the pressure is going to be on him. It's going to be his first game in the Premier League. People around the Premier League are going to know who he is because of his performance against England, because of his goal against England. So don't throw him in at the deep end. There's no need to launch him in and say, alright, you know, Kurt can't play this game, you're going to play, first Premier League appearance, Stamford Bridge, let's see what you can do. It's a notorious ground for Everton to go and cock things up as well. Many a time at Stamford Bridge over the years we've gone and, you know, things have happened that you're just like, wow, that's just a madness, that. And it's been games when we should have got results and we just haven't. So for me, I will play Yerry Mina in this game against Brighton. It's going to be a much easier game than Chelsea away would, and that's not to disrespect Brighton at all, but, you know, Brighton Hove Albion at home is going to be an easier test for Yerry Mina against somebody like a Glenn Murray, who's an aging striker, a very good striker, don't get me wrong, who scores goals, but an aging striker, rather than having him come up against, you know, Willian or an Eden Hazard or a team like that. Marco Silva did discuss this in his press conference. He discussed obviously the option of bringing Yerry Mina in. He was posed with a very similar question that, you know, Kurt Zouma can't play against Chelsea, so is this the time to bring Yerry Mina in and give him a little bit of experience before that game, because he is inevitably going to start that game. Marco Silva said, you know, Mina is fit for selection when he chooses, he's ready, he's raring to go when he decides. He also mentioned the friendly that we've got midweek against the African team that are coming over. I forgot their name, I apologise for that, but we've got a friendly midweek, and that has been confirmed that it's a first team fixture, it's a first team friendly due to the, you know, the agreements and stuff with Sports Pisa and that it's first team players that are going to be playing in that friendly. So I do fully expect to see Yerry Mina in that game as well. But for me, bringing Yerry Mina in, like I said, he's a player that needs to play for Everton week in, week out. He's the defender that we signed to fix all of our defensive issues. He's a player we brought in, you know, big money from Barcelona after a really good World Cup. You know, a goal scoring threat in the opposition box from corners, which is something that we just don't have in this team. And I think putting him in against Chelsea for his first Premier League game would be sort of not just throwing him in at the deep end, it'd be throwing him into a pool full of great white sharks with a cut in his leg and just saying, swim fella. And, you know, okay, he might get a little bit of fitness up with the game midweek, the friendly midweek, but it's not going to be a real test like a Premier League game will be. So for me, I will put Yerry Mina in. The reason I take Kurt Zouma out is, again, because he can't play against Chelsea. It's nothing to do with the fact that I think he's been, you know, the worst out the two between Zouma and Keane. I think they've both been fantastic this season, especially when they've played together. But because Kurt Zouma can't play against Chelsea, I don't see the point in bringing Keane out to put Mina in, and then bringing Zouma out to put Mina in. You may as well just keep the same back four for 2 games, and, you know, have Keane and Mina, and then Keane and Mina against Chelsea. And then after the Chelsea game, you can decide who your top 2 centre-backs are. Marco Silva can look at it and he can think, okay, Mina was brilliant in them 2 games, so he has to stay. It's between, you know, Zouma and Keane. Or, okay, them 2 games didn't go as planned, let's put Keane and Zouma back in, and let's give Mina a little bit more time. So yeah, that is my decision on putting Yerry Mina in. The other real standout change in this team is obviously Ademola Lookman coming on and playing right midfield. Theo Walcott dropping out. Obviously, Theo hasn't had the greatest start to the season. He has struggled to get involved. He has, you know, had a lot of chances that he hasn't been able to convert. Obviously, in the Manchester United game, the second goal, he didn't sack his man, he didn't sack back. And I think for me, it is just a confidence issue with Theo. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter and things like that saying, you know, he's finished, he shouldn't start again. You know, he's not a player that we should be looking to start every week if we're looking to get into the top 6. I do think that's a little bit premature for me. I think our fans can sometimes forget quite easily, you know. Theo Walcott did come in towards the end of last season. He come in January, and from January to the end of the season, he was our best player by a country mile. You know, him and Cenk Tosun come in and he both made a massive difference to the team. But Theo Walcott, every time he got the ball in the box, he scored or he assisted or he made a chance. He was fast, he was skillful, and he still is. I just think he might have lost that a little bit this season, and I don't think he's lost it in terms of he's lost the ability. I just think his confidence is a little bit down, you know, this season, and he hasn't been able to get underway. For me, again, similar situation to the Mina situation. If you're going to bring Ademola Lookman in and give him a chance, it's this game against Brighton. It's a game where, you know, it's at home for a start in front of a home crowd, so you're going to get a lot of fans that, you know, are raring to go and, you know, really supporting these players that are coming in, you know, with their big chances. Obviously, you'd like Mina and Lookman, and it's a game against a team that aren't as technically good as Chelsea, to say it nicely. Let's be honest, you know, if you're going to play Walcott again against Brighton and he's going to have another poor performance, and then you're going to go, okay, look, Adamola, you're going to come in against Chelsea, you know, you're going to play at Stamford Bridge. It's a poison chalice, really. You're putting him into a game against one of the, you know, the best teams in the league, against a team with a really good defence, and saying, you know, make it work. And for me, I don't think that's suitable, and I don't think Marco Silva should do that. Don't get me wrong, this is, again, as usual, as every week, this is just a team that I would like to see. It's not necessarily a team that Marco Silva would pick, and again, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Theo Walcott start. I wouldn't be totally against the idea of giving Theo another chance and saying, you know what, okay, you haven't really been up to scratch this season, it probably is just a confidence issue, get your head down and let's go again, and you know, keep going until you get that all important goal that you really need, and then push on from there. Again, if he plays Adamola Lookman against Brighton, it's sort of positives and negatives, it swings and roundabouts, because if he starts Lookman against Brighton and Lookman really doesn't affect the game, then he's got a decision to make then for Chelsea. You know, do you give Lookman another chance and risk him not affecting the game again against Chelsea, or do you put, you know, Theo Walcott back in and he's going to be even less confident because he's been dropped for the game before? So I really do think Marco Silva's team talk before this game and his explanation of the team to the players is really important. I think it's important that if he brings Kurt Zouma out, he says to him, you know, okay, we know you can't play against Chelsea, so we're going to bring it out for the Brighton game. We're going to let Yerry step in. We're going to let Yerry have a couple of games in the Premier League, see how he does, and then we'll reassess then. You know, you're not out the team forever, even if he plays fantastically. You're not going to come out and never come back in. You will come back in, but we're just going to assess it. And obviously, because you can't play against Chelsea, we're going to bring you out of this game as well. Similar situation with Adamola Lookman. You take Theo Walcott out and you say, look, we've noticed that you've been a little bit lacking on confidence recently, so we're going to give you the game on the bench, let you, you know, sort of regenerate yourself, let you re-energise your body, and you know, get a little bit more confidence from sitting on the bench, and then you can maybe come on in that game and affect the game, or start, you know, the following fixture against Chelsea. For me, this is the game to do it. Again, no disrespect to Brighton, but we really need 3 points in this game, and Marco Silva will be looking for 3 points in this game because he can't accept anything different. Obviously, we've seen now the two top sides we've played this season in Arsenal and Manchester United are games where you're watching it and you're thinking, we could have won this game if we took our chances. And in both games, weirdly, well, I say weirdly, ironically, both games refereed by the same referee, with two massive refereeing mistakes in Aubameyang's goal and obviously the penalty with Martial last week. But regardless of that, the chances we had in the Arsenal game and the chances we had in the United game were more than enough to win them games. And if you're going to go to these teams and you're going to go to the likes of Old Trafford, the Emirates, you know, Stamford Bridge, like I said, next week, Anfield coming up in a couple of weeks, as well as the Etihad, and you're going to have these chances, but you know, you're going to allow yourself the time to, you know, warm into the game, and you might come away with a scrubby defeat like against Old Trafford, or you might come away with a draw. Then you really have to make sure that the games against the Brightons and you know, Fulham and Crystal Palace and teams like that, you're really getting 3 points at home, and it's a really important 3 points for Marco Silva, in my opinion. So like I said, a word on Brighton and Hove Albion. They have won their last 3 Premier League games by 1-0. The first team to do that in a while, I believe. If they beat us 1-0, that would be the first time any Premier League team has won 4 straight games by 1-0 since Leicester done it in 2016, I believe, which I think was their title-winning season, if I'm not wrong. But you know, they're a very strong team, Brighton. They've got big centre-half, Shane Duffy, who obviously we know used to play for Everton, a very big centre-half, and you know, a striker in Glenn Murray that can score goals. He mightn't be the fanciest, he mightn't be, you know, the youngest, but he can score goals, he can put the ball in the back of the net. It reminds me a little bit of like a Jamie Vardy. You know, he's not the fanciest player, but he will put the ball in the back of the net if you give him an opportunity. So I think it's really important that we understand that, you know, they've got big centre-half, and that's why I think the decision to play Richarlison on the left for me is really important. If you play Richarlison up front, I do just think he fades out of games, and I think you lose him a little bit. You also lose the power and the strength of Cenk Tosun up front, who can rag players out of position and bring Brighton players in all sorts of parts of the field, and allow Richarlison to come in off that wing and, you know, use his pace and use his ability to get past players, because like I said, they've got a massive defence. They've got 2 really big centre-halves, and them centre-halves aren't going to be, you know, they're not going to be beaten in the air, and they're not going to be beaten easily by just running at them. So we need to make sure that balls are played in behind, and we make use of the pace that we've got on the pitch, and the, you know, the technical ability that we've got. And Richarlison's getting past his players, whether it's Bernard or Lookman or Walcott are getting past their players, and you know, the ball's coming into whoever's playing in that number 9 position. And for me, it should be Cenk Tosun. I think, you know, Cenk obviously coming on against Crystal Palace, played fantastically well in the brief spell he was on, scored a goal. Didn't really do much at Old Trafford, but I don't think any of the substitutions did, in my opinion. I think this is the game now. This is against a team that he really can impact the game. He can get a goal, he can get his goal tally back underway, and he can really benefit off the pace that's going to be brought in from the wings for me. So yeah, like I said, Brighton, very strong unit, a very strong team, a good team in terms of keeping it, you know, tight and not letting oppositions get past them. A team that are good at not conceding goals, and I think this is again why it's vitally important that we take our chances tomorrow, and we make sure that every chance we get on goal goes in. They've got a fantastic goalkeeper in Matt Ryan, who has been, you know, tremendous this season. Again, when we get one-on-one with the keeper, we need to make sure we're scoring these goals, and we need to make sure that whoever plays in that defence, whether it's Zuma, whether it's Keane, whether it's Mina, is defensively tight, because if you give Glenn Murray a chance in front of goal, you know, it's a very good chance that it's going to go in. So we need to make sure we're defensively tight. We don't let them break, and we don't let them put the ball in the box. And when we are attacking, and when we are going forward, we're using our pace, and we're making sure that we're doing it effectively, and we're creating the chances, and more importantly, we're putting the chances away. Because I think this is a game where I really can see Everton scoring 3 or 4 goals tomorrow against this Brighton team. I'm really, you know, walking through them, and that's no disrespect to Brighton, but that's just how good I think we can be attacking, and how really energetic and positive we can be at home, and just how good our players can be when we're scoring and when we're playing well. But equally, I can see a Brighton nicking a 1-0 victory if they keep it tight and we make a mistake, and that's why we need to make sure we do not make any mistakes tomorrow. So yeah, it's a massive game for Marco Silva tomorrow, back at Goodison Park, back in front of our home supporters, and like I said, a game where we really need to get the 3 points. If we're looking to challenge the top sort of 6 or 7 and get in that European position for next season, these are the games that we need to get the points on the board, and these are the games that we need to just slug out and, you know, get 3 points. And at the end of the day, like I said, if we're gonna, you know, be able to afford the slip-ups away from home against the big teams, and you know, we can clearly see we're improving. I don't think anyone can disagree that the Arsenal game and the Manchester United game were massive improvements on anything we seen last season, but you know, we still didn't get anything from them. We still didn't even get a point from them. So if we're going to allow ourselves to, you know, not get points from them games, or maybe even only get 1 point in a few of them, and you know, we're going to play fantastically, or we're going to, you know, have the chances and not take them, and there's going to be swings and roundabouts, we definitely need to make sure that we're getting 3 points on the board against teams like Brighton at home. Again, no disrespect to Brighton, but it's definitely a team we can beat, and definitely a team we should beat. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you excited for this game? Let me know what you think about my predicted starting 11. Do you think Yerry Mina will come in? Do you think Marco Silva will save him for that friendly in midweek in preparation for the Chelsea game? Do you think Ademola Lookman will come in? Do you think he should come in? Do you think somebody else should come in on the right if you're going to bring Theo Walcott out? Do you think maybe give Bernard a chance on the right with Richarlison on the left? Again, do you think Richarlison should play up front again, or do you think Cenk Tosun could come back in? Maybe even a Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. One thing's for sure, and that is that it's a massive game for Marco Silva, and a massive chance for us to get another 3 points on the board, and for us to, you know, start a winning run again. And you know, forget the bleep against Manchester United, forget the awful refereeing decision, forget the fact that, you know, Martial scored a goal that should have been defended better, forget the fact that we didn't take our chances. Let's focus on this game tomorrow. Let's get 3 points, and let's, like I said, you know, kick on and start up a winning run again, and you know, go into the very hard away games that we've got coming up in the next few weeks, and be confident and be strong, and you know, attack them like we did against Manchester United. Go at them, and you know, be a little bit more risky this game, because I do think we were a little bit hesitant against Manchester United. Let's go into, you know, City at the Etihad, Liverpool at Anfield, Tottenham at White Hart Lane, or wherever they're playing these days, Wembley Stadium, or fucking the local park, whatever they play these days, and let's go in and let's attack them, and let's be forceful, and let's say, you know what, we can get something out of this game, because we are brilliant when we attack, and when we counter-attack forcefully and create chances, we are a really good side. And you know, let's go into these games and do it, and equally, let's go into tomorrow and do it, and hopefully get the 3 points against Brighton. So if you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like. Obviously, I'll be uploading my review to this on Monday. I might even have a FIFA episode out in the meantime. If not, there'll definitely be a FIFA episode out at some point next week. So thank you very much for watching. Leave a like on this video if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new to the channel and you enjoy the content, and I'll see you very soon when hopefully the Blues will have a victory. I'll see you for the instant match reaction on Saturday afternoon, of course, and hopefully it'll be a happy one and a smiley one, and we'll have lots to talk about, and we'll be saying absolutely fantastic stuff about the Blues, and we'll be running around dancing like pigeons because Richarlison scored that. So let's hope. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.